Hey, this is Christina Feliciano with Feliciano and Friends. I have Jennie.
Hello, hello.
And she's a good friend of mine. She's really amazing. What I love most about her is that she's all about her family. She's an amazing mom of 5, amazing wife, amazing grandmother, but which is wild because she looks like she is 29. But she's also a really amazing entrepreneur. So she works at the dermatologist's office, but she actually is a realtor. That's her bread and butter. She is an esthetician with her own business, and she's really a jack of all trades.
Yes.
And yeah, like I really admire you. No, truly, when I see like your family pictures and just I've seen you with your kids, like the relationship you have, like you really are goals, and that you have really maintained like your values and your family values, and also been like a badass businesswoman. So tell us a little about yourself.
So, born and raised, Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes.
Goal was to move as soon as I turned 18. God had different plans for me. Became pregnant at 16, had my baby at 17, and I've been grinding ever since.
Yeah.
That's all I've known. I had to, take care of my baby. So
what did you do first? Was it real estate school, esthetician?
No, so it's funny. I wanted to be a dental hygienist.
Okay.
I went to, I'm showing my age. It used to be called FCCJ. Now it's FSCJ. So went there for my prereqs, went to go put my application in for hygiene school, missed the deadline. And then I went to be a dental assistant, found out a week later I was pregnant with my second daughter. So again, God had different plans for me, did that. And I was like, ugh, I can't, I need to work for myself.
Yeah.
And then went back to school to get my medical esthetician license.
Oh, okay, very cool. So then how long have you been an esthetician for?
Oh, Lord. Let me do the math. So, 14 years.
Okay, and you have your own med spa. Tell us about that.
I do, yeah. So, my saying is I bring quality, right?
Yeah.
So, quality service will always bring your clients. I don't care where you're located. Yes, I can give you the big, shiny, beautiful building.
Yeah.
But at the time, again, I was a single mom. So my overhead, I didn't want my overhead
to be crazy.
So it didn't make sense for me. I wanted to be close to my daughter's school. So I started my business on the west side of Jax. Everybody looked at me like, what are you doing, you crazy girl? And I was like, West Siders need love too. Started that. And again, it's just word of mouth. I started before social media was really taken off, and really had to work it. So, yeah.
And how long have you been out there? Because I know that when we first met, it was so cool because you said you had gone, I don't know how long, with the Dinsmore Elementary.
Yeah, so in Dinsmore, my third grade year. It's so crazy.
Goodness. And that's where my kids,
second grade, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, was oldest, and that's where we used to live. And my husband's buried out there. And so Dinsmore, I love that community. Yeah. And now you're in Baldwin.
No, so I'm not far. No, I'm not far. So I live off the Pritchard area.
Okay.
So I tell everybody Chaffee or Marietta. You might hear that terminology just because nobody knows where I'm at in BFE, but now it's becoming more popular.
I just assumed when I've gone there that was Baldwin. Is that not Baldwin?
What?
When I've gone to your med spa.
No. It's like
I've been there. I would have just told people
it's like an exit or two before Baldwin. So Baldwin's
so
a good little hike.
Okay,
yeah.
No, so that's where I like. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Chaffee area. And then so you've had that it's successful then if you've had it for that long.
It's been, I'm super blessed. My family's very supportive. My mom is she's always been a driving force in my life.
Yeah.
So she's been in the medical field and just really, set me up with the right people. And like I said, if it wasn't for her, I would not be as successful as I am today.
So what's your favorite thing to do as an esthetician?
Oh my gosh, I love microneedling. I don't know. I think everybody should get microneedling. It's amazing. So they tell you to do at least 4 treatments at the beginning. Okay. And you're going to see results right away. And if they're not doing it right, you're not going to see. But I'm very, you pay good money, I'm going to give you a good quality service.
No.
And then I have people that come, they are addicted to it, they love it, so they come once a month, or then I have some people that come once every 3 months after they have the initial 4 treatments.
Okay, and how long is the recovery?
Not long at all. So about 24 hours, you're going to be red. Yeah, you can put makeup on 24 hours after. You're going to hear me tell you, don't put makeup on 72 hours, but,
Okay, and then when did you get into real estate?
Oh my gosh, so 2018, right before the whole COVID thing happened.
Yeah.
I was just telling her that I started doing real estate because I was flipping houses with my dad.
Okay.
And a lot of real estate agents did not want to help me due to the price point. And so my husband, just go take your license, no big deal. Okay, girl, stressed me out. It's not Anybody tells you they passed their test the first time, like, good for you. Here's a cookie. I was not that girl. I have extreme test anxiety.
Okay,
like
what
you.
we're talking about.
I overthink everything. It's horrible. Anyways, got my license.
So you got your license.
Right. Became very successful. I actually got my broker license. So that was,
amazing.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So again, super blessed. It really took off. And I have that connection with, everybody I work with becomes family. So
that is true. So why, like, I always ask women, and I've been trying to on this podcast from people that are watching, you had your baby at a young age. You have been uber successful, not just with professionally, but also personally. What are your secrets? What have you done differently? Because what you have, Jennie, is, I want to say something emotional, like what you, I'm going to start crying. Like, what you have is really, really rare. To be able to have that level of personal success, but also that level of family success, and to be so grounded and to put family first. And then, what has been your secret to being able to be such an amazing wife, mama, business owner?
I try to preach balance, but really there isn't none, right? So it's just putting things in perspective. So why do I hustle? I hustle because I have kids out. I have people depending on me, right? Why do I do the things I do? It's because of them. But at the same time, I have to be patient with myself. That's what I've learned is like, okay, the dishes aren't like, nothing has to be perfect. I used to be so OCD on like, oh my gosh, I'm not a good mom if this isn't done or this isn't done. And that's not the case. Like, my kids just want time from me. And I really still struggle with that because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got to do X, Y, and Z so they can have, A, B, and C. But really, we make life so much harder than it is. Like, just slow down and soak up that time. And really, I get mad at myself because I'm just now realizing that now that my kids are older, like they're teenagers, and I'm just like, holy cow, like we got here so fast. Like, did I pour enough into them? Like, do they know how to do certain things, and like life is coming really fast and I'm not prepared. I catch myself like crying, like what is wrong with me? But yeah, I mean, I don't think no one has the secret sauce to that. You just have to do what's best for you and your family at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, you have the secret sauce. Maybe you don't know how to explain it, but you got it.
So I think that's my thing is like, I think as moms, we're all just so hard on ourselves, and again, I try to be patient and kind, and like I was to the new mama over here. Like just slow down, enjoy the moments, and just like you said, it's all for the right reasons.
For sure. No, 100%. And that's even, I don't have custody of my kids, but everything that I do is driven.
For them.
Yeah, it's for them. They're going to be adult. My oldest is 16. He'll be 18 in 2 years, so he'll have the opportunity if he chooses to come back, and then they're, and then they're children hopefully, and I want, like, I have this vision that I just want to, within reason, provide a good life and for them.
You are. I think you're doing a great job, and I think you're very you're such a walking testimony. Like, every time I've talked to you, you're just very inspiring. And honestly, you put things in perspective too. Like you were just saying. I mean, you lost custody, but you look at me and I'm over here like, I want to strangle my teenager, and you're over here like, I just want to hug my teenager.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to hug him. I just want to see them.
So like that puts things in perspective for me because we take life so for granted. We don't realize how blessed we are sometimes until we talk to someone.
No, for sure. And I think about that when I did have them all the time, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Like I did not, I was not being like, thank you, geez. I mean, I love them, but I did not. Yeah, so for sure.
I get it.
But so I'm like.
You probably are still gonna want to struggle.
Yeah, I know. I always think too, I'm gonna do stuff like in their adulthood, like make them like wear like matching PJs for like Christmas. Like, I missed your childhood.
Yeah. So you can still do that. Yeah.
Exactly. They're gonna like. So what about like your business success? Because you've done a really good job of retaining clients. I'm assuming because you're not going to be around for 14, 15 years if you're not retaining clients, especially in not the West Side, but just like a smaller town, right? Like, so you're going to have to. What have you done to make people so loyal to you? Because people are like ride for you.
Yeah, I really, I used to get my feelings hurt because the people closest to me would not, and I say people closest, like people that I think would support my business 100%. and they would be going to Ponte Vedra, and I'm like, why are you spending all this money? Like, feed me. And then the people that I would least expect, like my Riverside, my San Marco, my Fernandina girls, like they drive to come see me, and they're like, we love you, we love that you're honest. So again, just giving them a good quality service.
Yeah.
I'm not there to get rich off one facial, because again, if you give a good quality, like they're gonna keep coming back. They're gonna keep coming back.
And that's the thing too. And like Izzy and I talked about, with our business, we've been talking about like the importance of not really just trying to get new clients, which of course we blessed and what have you.
Right.
But what can we do to make sure we have that we keep our clients? Because the people that we have are really amazing, and I'm really like blessed and honored to have them and to just retain, to retain them, as opposed to always like grow. Like, do we have enough to feed our families? Okay, great. Now let's just make these people happy, and
I think it's just making them feel special. Like, and that's you have that that spirit, like
I try.
I mean, you do though, like when Sarah from down the street comes and sees you and her mom passed away, like you know that you're gonna act like, hey, how are you genuinely care versus just really a number. And I think that's what people are missing, is they look at the price tag and they don't look at the person.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that. I do think that, I mean, I haven't been around nearly as long as you have, but I do think there is something to actually genuinely caring about people. And I had a patient in earlier, he's like a businessman, and was like, if you just like went online and did this and didn't see them, I'm like, yeah, but I think like what gives me joy is like having a relationship with people. Like,
well, my patients help me more than they help them. Sure. I feel that. So I tell them that all the time. Like, y'all are a blessing to me.
No, 100%. Like, it really, like, there's I was talking about a client yesterday. She's a elder lady, not like a 60, 70, but she's like reminds me so much of my grandma Annie, that I was super close, close to, and she's kind of a little bit like rough around the, like she doesn't like that many, but I'm like her little whisperer, like if we get, and she just makes me laugh, and she's, and the other people are like, she's, like you right. But it's just, and it really, like, they bring me so much joy. It's almost like a set, and especially I'm sure like it almost starts to feel like family too, because you have repeat people.
Correct.
So it's like, it's a really cool thing. So let me think about what we're gonna talk. Sorry, it's been a long day.
You're good. I was late too.
So it's whatever. Okay, this is a good thing for your mental health. What do you do? What are your? Because you come across pretty sane.
Yeah, energy drinks. I love Alani News.
I love.
I should be a sponsor by now. I mean, I should have stock in the company, because it's bad. It's like I wake up, Alani New, go to bed, Alani New. So, you were talking about yoga. I love hot yoga. I used to do it every Wednesday night at Riverside. And honestly, I got away from it, and I can definitely see a difference in my mental and physical health for sure. Working out, again, I'm going through TMI, here we are. So I'm pretty sure I'm going through like perimenopause, and that's really taken like a toll on me. It's not talked about enough. Everybody I talk to, I've been told, oh, you're too young, or they just kind of like push my emotions and my feelings to a side, like, oh, you shouldn't fit. And I'm like, no, I do though. Like, this is what I'm going through, and it's kind of like a depression a little bit. It's really weird.
I don't know much about it. I need to educate myself.
Yeah, but it's I can't explain it to people because I don't know anything. I'm doing.
I'm in restrictions, but I don't know much about female. Like, I mean, so that when I can't really speak to it, but I need to learn more.
And everybe's different. So I hear some women, they're like, oh, I didn't even have that till I was 45.
I've heard it's pretty bad.
Oh my gosh.
I have,
girl.
I have heard that, and I've heard that it's so bad that I don't want to do women's hormone replacement, because I feel like it's just something that I don't know if I can make people happy, so I don't think it's something I'm gonna personally do. I tell women, like, get it taken care of, but it's something like I want to make people happy, and I don't know.
No,
like, if I can crack that nut.
Honestly, I really, like, I'm doing everything in my power to get back in the gym and get back to the mat, because I know I need it. But again, everybody deals with their own personal struggles, and that's one of my personal struggles right now, is like taking time for myself and making sure I'm mentally and physically okay.
Yeah, well, no, that's important. We'll talk more off camera too. But then, what about, like, so I saw the reel that you did on the cruise ship. No, we'll put it in here, Izzy. So just explain how you were dressed up on the cruise
Oh
ship.
my gosh. So my oldest turned 21. Happy birthday, Haley Faye. And we went on a cruise for her birthday, and so everybody was gonna dress up.
Mama was wildin'.
Yeah. Everybody's supposed to dress up as their favorite drink, right? So I'm extra if, nothing's gave it away yet. But they're supposed to wear their shirt. That's what she wanted. I was trying to go for granny night or something. She didn't play along with that one. So my sister was going to be like a margarita, and I had another friend who was supposed to be like Jack Daniel, and they were supposed to dress up in their like big crazy costumes. Yeah, I was the only one.
She has like a Halloween full-fledged Bloody Mary.
Yeah, girl, I rocked that thing.
Bloody Mary, like
day. I rocked it all day.
All day on the cruise.
Yeah. And loved it. I loved every minute of it, which, I don't get embarrassed easy.
No, I love that, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the Jumbotron. I was like on the mic wishing my daughter a happy birthday with the they thought I was a cruise director.
I bet they did.
They were like, "Are you the cruise director?" I was like, "I can be. What you need, girl?" But it's just fun. I mean, it gets the party started, and honestly, to know my family, you would know where I get it from. Like, they were in every competition on the cruise. Sexiest man, my cousin won. He's like third year champ. Like, it's crazy. My other brother-in-law, he did an arrow down with his chest hair. It's all of them are so wild. So to me, it's just normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh yeah.
It sounds like my kid's dad's family's a little.
Yeah, we're a little crazy.
And my dad, a little.
We're fun. It's never boring. Like, I probably need a Ring camera to catch all the craziness.
No, but that's fun. But I love that about you. And so, you've always been that way, though, haven't you? Like, not cared what people think?
Oh, girl, yeah. When we did, like, school spirit and stuff, like homecoming, I'm that person. Yeah. Like, I'm ridiculous when it comes to, we're doing it. We're doing 100%.
Right. I love that. So, what would you say to women that, like, are not as confident, or what's, like, advice? Because sometimes I also, think people, like, see someone like you, and they're like, I could never be, like, maybe they can't. No, but truly, like, what are things, like, tidbits of advice, or someone that's younger, that maybe, like, we were talking about being a teen mom, like, what are some, like, advice that you would give to maybe your younger self or younger women, of inspiration, or just even tips of how to get through hard times?
Yeah, so, be patient, be kind. Stop looking at everybody else for, I see that person, that's where they're at in their life, and that's where you think you need to be. Yeah. You have your own path. Set a goal, and knock away at that goal. It can be slowly, it can be fast, just like I said, be patient, be kind, set a goal, and just get it done. Be yourself. Yeah. The rest will follow.
I love that. And then, what do you see? I've talked about visions and manifestations. Mm-hmm. So all my guests, I always ask them, what is their visions or manifestations for a 5-year plan? Where would you like to see yourself and your family?
Yeah, it's basically, I love that you said my family, because really that's where I'm at in life. Yeah. Like, I'm busy, and my kids are really my goal right now. God, you're gonna make me get emotional. So my oldest just got engaged. So, she's getting married, and then I have a grandbaby already there. Her fiance already had a baby from his previous. Yeah.
Tears in your eyes.
So, but seeing my kids be successful and happy in life is really it for me. You know, I see so many people. And it took me a long time to realize that. So many people want what I already have, and I didn't realize that. So just slowing down, and like my daughter, she's a softball player. She's amazing. Trying to get her. She's big year for her. She's going to senior year, getting her a scholarship. And then my boys, getting them high school, same thing, football, and I just want my kids happy and successful. And my worst fear is something happening to me and me not instilling those.
No, that's like pretty amazing, because I think, like, you're the probably first person, not necessarily, because everyone's talked with their kids, but just that your whole reason and all your vision is just for your kids to be happy. And I think that's probably why you have also been so successful, because you're not self-serving. You have visions for, for your kids, for your husband. And I think that's honestly, when I asked you earlier, like, what the secret sauce is, I think it's because not that you don't do things for yourself, but you really care about your clients, you care about your parents, your family, and I think that because you're so concerned about that's why you have so much light and so much positive in your life.
I would hope so.
No, I think so.
But
it's true. That is why.
I guess, like I said, like, I'm big into generational wealth. I'm big into, I can take you to the lake, but I got to teach you to fish, right? So, my dad told me a long time ago, and like I said, my parents really planted the seed. It's not about what you do tomorrow. It's not about what you do 2 years from now. It's about 50 years from now. What legacy are you leaving behind, right? So what are my kids going to teach my grandkids and for my great grandkids, and just kind of.
No, I love that because I talk about that and I don't hear that many people talk about. I'm always thinking about like legacy, and even how earlier we were talking about that I would have a dream of having it down there like Dinsmore, because that's where my kid's father is buried. And I think about all of these things and just the church, and I think about personally too, like the behaviors and the choices that I make and how that impacts my children and my grandchildren even today.
Correct. It affects generations to come. 100%. So you hear about generational curses, you hear about generations.
I love that you're talking about this, because I don't feel like many people articulate it, and that it's like hard because to change, to break generational curses or to change, it's like a daily thing. Right. You have to make good decisions like every day.
Right. And like, so I'll give you an example. Like my son, I took him to, he was struggling in school, and I was trying to be very natural. I didn't want to just throw a pill down my son's throat, right? Super intelligent, but I took him to a psychiatrist, and great guys in Georgia, and he ran all these tests. I'm talking like 2 days of tests. Yeah. It was crazy just off those tests that he was like, so, you have like alcoholism in your family, like you have like naming off the struggles that my dad has dealt with, my grandfather has dealt with, like things that like hit home just because he saw my son's patterns. And he told my son, he was like, listen, you pick up anything, you're going to be great at it, but you need to make sure you pick up the right thing, because if not, you will be an addict. Wow. So here he's telling my 13-year-old.
I'm sure my kids will have to hear that
14, too. But it's real life. Like, it needs to be talked about more. And, it's in your blood. And so I had that tough conversation with him. And I was like, son, this is why you can't just have a beer with your friends. Like, because you may not stop at a beer. It just may keep going. And so, and it's okay to talk about those things because they need to know.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you did.
And again, so we got him on medicine to help him with school. And so now, great, his doctor in town is great too. And we just have those tough conversations, and he knows. But to me, that was I was breaking a generational pattern. Yeah, that was my goal. And that's what I told my parents. I was like, I know right now, the doctor just told me my son carries this trait. Yeah. I have to do what I can to stop it, or to at least like put brakes on it, and like let him know, hey son, you have these paths. You need to. This is why. No, I'm not telling you this just as a parent. I'm telling you this because I'm genuinely concerned. Like, this is the path you would go down.
And that too. And I think there's like spiritual warfare, and there's addiction.
100%. Praying over your kids.
Yeah, it's huge. And I also too. I think when my kids get older, the way I would explain to anyone's children, or guys, is that when it comes to addiction, and this is what I wish that they had told me when I was younger, is that like drugs and alcohol are amazing. It's going to make you feel absolutely amazing. Yeah. It's just that if you have the predisposition for addiction, you're going to want to continue, you're going to want to stay, and it's going to end up destroying your life.
Right. It's never going to be enough.
It's never going to be enough. One's never going to be enough. It's going to continue, and what's going to happen is you're going to chase that, and you're going to lose, like I did. You're going to lose everything. But I feel like you don't tell kids, or people don't tell kids, it's great. Right, so I think that one thing I tell people is like, it's great. However, if you have the predisposition, which I 100% do, genetically, spiritually, for addiction, and I'm that if I go down that road, my story, I used to think I was special and invincible. Like, my story will not end any different. If I end up relapsing and going, I'm going to end up dead or in prison. Like, that's how my story is going to end. It's not like, this is, and so it's a choice that I have to make, but it's a temptation because it feels good. And I know sometimes I could alleviate my suffering by doing this. And then I have to think about it. And I was actually talking to Jasmine and Izzy about it the other day, but if I I have some like mental health in the sense of like depression, anxiety, and stress. I could alleviate it with drugs and alcohol. It would make my temporary life so much better. But now I have people, not only my children, but I have employees that are dependent on me to run a successful business, so I can, you know, pay them. I have patients that have given me their hard-earned money and are dependent on me to take care and serve them. And, you know, I sometimes think it's somewhat of like a living sacrifice that I have to make for the rest of my life, is I'm going to maybe be a little bit more emotionally uncomfortable than I want to be.
Right.
And that is a sacrifice that I'm going to make for the greater good of my patients, of my employer, my coworkers, and for my children and future grandchildren.
Right.
So, yeah.
No,
But yeah, I think it's not talked about enough. And it's also not talked enough about how great it is until it's...
I mean, that's with everything,
like,
right?
You know, but I feel like that's not talked about as much because they're like, it's so bad. It's like, yeah,
well,
but it's
temptation.
Yeah.
It's temporary.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's all fun, but, you know.
But that's amazing what you did with your son. And to have those conversations with him.
Right. I mean, I think they're tough conversations. You know, I tell everybody you get what to expect when expecting.
Yeah.
Terrible twos. We don't get no book on teenagers. Like, Lord. I mean, I tell when people ask me questions, I'm like, I don't have the answer. Like, I just literally, God wakes me up in the middle of the night, and I don't talk about it enough, but it needs to, like, waking up, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I just start praying over everybody I know and constantly, because
that's why the Holy Spirit,
you know, as mothers, like, God gives us that. So I think, you know, listen to that feeling, pray, and I'm not perfect. I mean, I just was dressing up like this Bloody Mary on a cruise, but at the end of the day, like, you know, my faith that I have, you know, my faith is in God, and again, if it wasn't for him, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, for sure.
No, 100%. Like, I know that. Yeah, that's amazing. And then the final question is, I always ask, is there a quote that you live by or you recommend or something?
I was thinking about that. I mean, I would love to just quote the Nike, just do it. No, but really, I mean, yeah, just do the dang thing. I mean, there's always going to be naysayers. Those people don't feed you.
100%.
They don't pay my bills. And
That's
so
it, yeah,
once I got over that hump of like, okay, you don't like my post. Like, I'm sorry, but you don't pay my bills. You don't.
No.
People that genuinely love you and care for you, they're gonna mentally. It don't have to be, you know, mentally, physically, like, you know.
Yeah, be there for you. So. Well, thank you so much for coming and
course.
sharing your words of
me.
wisdom. And I really admire you as a human being.
Thank you.
And I really have like a lot of love for you. And I've always found. Oh, and you know one thing a quote that you told me actually that is like changed my life or thought about differently.
What's that?
Is that you told me when I was talking about things that I open up with, and you told me to be careful. And you said not to load their gun. Yeah, so that is a quote that you told me that helped you change my life.
I have a lot of quotes, but I guess I need to like.
Yeah.
You know, my friend that told me that, she passed away recently.
Oh, I
didn't know that I did a Facebook post about her, and that's what we talked. You know, she was the one that told me that. She said, "Stop loading their gun," and I was like, "Wow." Yeah. Stop giving people ammunition on yourself. You know, me and you are such open.
Yes,
like,
exactly. You told me. You
our
were like,
story,
just
our testimony. Just be careful, because the right people are not going to look at you and judge you. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, like, what a testimony. Yeah. Other people are going to take that and try to harm you with that. So, again, I mean, at the end of the day, my story is my story.
Because I'm all oversharing here.
Right. But I mean,
you're loading the gun.
Your story, you know, you say load the gun, but you know what? There's, like I said, there's always going to be naysayers. So,
for sure.
You tell your story, because you might have that one naysayer, but you're going to help so many people overcome, you know, what you've been through. So,
all right,
you're changing lives, girl.
Oh, thank you. You are too. All right. God bless you and thank you. All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye, y'all.
All right.